All right, one of the most common questions when joining a new car group on the good old Facebook, specifically for the car that you just picked up to own, is going to be something like this. Hey guys, just did a thing today. Here's a picture of my new car. What oil are we running? Stop! For the love of God, just stop, all right? Like, I get it, you know, you're excited and you want to start a conversation, but like, it did get us thinking a little bit. There has been a lot of changes to our own motor oil throughout the years, and one question that seems to get paired with the previous one that we just talked about is whether or not they should be running a conventional oil versus a synthetic oil. So what is going on, everyone? Giles from Fitment Industries, and today we're going to be talking about just that, synthetic versus conventional oil, and whether or not one is better than the other on today's episode of Myth or Fact. Real quick though, before we go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of today's episode, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hop on over to fitmentindustries.com. You know, check out if we got some holiday deals going on. It's around that time. If you've been looking at getting some wheels, tires, suspension, now's the time. Right now. All right? You're not gonna wanna miss out. Anyway, what it really comes down to nowadays is whether or not you are running synthetic or conventional oil in your car. So let's go ahead and start breaking down the properties and key differences of each one. First up, we have the good old conventional oil. Derived from crude oil back in the late 1800s, what we know as conventional oil nowadays was used in the earliest of engines. And if you ever picked up a history book here and there, you would know that it has caused, you know, quite a bit of issues around the early 1900s. But other than that, you know, it's done its job pretty well in keeping our engines lubricated and running for like hundreds of years, you know, just war, right? The only thing you really had to worry about was like the viscosity or grade of your oil and what you were going to be using. Like I said, it did the job, but could it have been done better? Synthetic oil, believe it or not, is not anything new. It's something that we keep going back to. Again, bringing back the little history lesson here, war tends to accelerate technological advancements and innovation. During World War II, the Germans were moving as fast as they could with development of new tanks, new planes, other vehicles that required oil. However, their supply of the natural mineral crude oil could not keep up with the demands of the war. German scientists in the late 30s and early 40s ended up developing the first mass-produced quantities of synthetic man-made oils. And this oil brought some other surprising advantages with it as well. The main one being that it was able to stay fluid and operational at freezing temperatures. The cold climates of the battlegrounds of the Eastern Front in World War II, paired with the colder temperatures at high altitudes and aircraft, made synthetic oil a very practical solution to a problem they never thought of. Throughout the 50s and 60s, synthetic oils became more and more popular within the aviation industry, and by the end of the 1970s, it was finally approved for commercial automotive applications. So surprise, surprise, it's been around for a long time. So here we are today, and I guess the best thing to really do would be to go over the advantages and disadvantages of a synthetic oil versus a conventional oil. First up, the advantages. As we just talked about, synthetic oils blow conventional oils out of the water when it comes to operating in colder temperatures. It doesn't thicken up nearly as much, which allows for easier starting during cold weather, and it's better for your engine overall. It also doesn't evaporate nearly as quickly as conventional oils either, meaning that it will reduce the risk of oil sludge and buildup, which is one of the reasons as to why you can run a synthetic oil for a longer period of time in between oil changes and not have to worry about it. We see now oil changes that are advertised to last 10,000 to even up to like 15,000 miles or longer, which is absolutely incredible. Synthetic oil also has additives and other properties that will help your engine last longer too. There is a ton, and I mean a ton, of tech and development that has gone into the oil that we add into our cars today, and is especially present in synthetic oils. However, with everything, there's always that downside or that little bit of a drawback. Unfortunately, synthetic oils just aren't the best for all platforms. Older vehicles and engines that were designed for the use of conventional oil back in the day don't always see the same advantages when switched over to a synthetic oil. Specifically, engines that use roller lifters are intended to run on a leaded gasoline. With engines that have roller lifters, due to the decrease of friction that synthetic oils provide, the rollers will tend to slide instead of roll like they were designed to do. This type of oil also doesn't hold lead either, which can cause problems with the older cars and older engines that require lead content in their gasoline. So to really make like a long story short here, older platforms that were intended to run out of conventional oil will more than likely respond negatively to a synthetic oil unless they are specifically adapted for it. They just weren't designed back in the day to run on it. But even with all that, as we know today, synthetic oil has pretty much taken over the market for most of our vehicles. You can go to the parts store and all the synthetic oils are promoted versus the conventional oils kind of just left sitting on the shelf. Newer cars and newer engines are being designed and built to run with synthetic oil, and it's just been proven to have a better effect on engines and helps them last longer. I believe that this is a pretty well-known subject for the most part, and a lot of people do see the benefits of a synthetic oil versus a regular conventional oil. However, the question that seems to pop up all the time is that if I have a car that is currently, using a conventional oil, how do I know for sure if I can run a synthetic oil? Every case here is different, and yes, it is kind of a tough question to answer. For the most part, if you have anything newer than a 90s car, you should be okay. However, it's always best to do at least some sort of research on the subject. It's really not that hard to find. Just a quick Google search on the old internet should lead you to where you want to be. So there you have it. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below as always, and please, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out more than you know. Of course, too, don't forget about the wheel, tire, and suspension deals that we got going on right now for the holiday season right over at fitmentindustries.com. You can go check it out all over at the website or click the links down in the description below. But thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. I'm Gels from Fitment Industries. We'll see you later.